So, last time, um, August and Shim Thistlewim were sent on a mission to Stumpsville because no shipments have arrived or had arrived from Stumpsville in some time. And Stumpsville is the main source of cheese for the people of Oaks Grove, which is where you're from. And so they went to Stumpsville, and they discovered that a dastardly clan of, or gang of dead rats, a bunch of rats, was sent by a cat to take over Stumpsville and to steal all the cheese from the good mice of Stumpsville. And they liberated Stumpsville, and they saved the lives of the survivors and evacuated them. All except one heroic mouse. And they also lost their beetle pets. And, but they got the cheese back and they liberated Stumpsville, but in the process, they uncovered a plot by the evil cat Lord Balthazar to subjugate the mice of the earldom of Eck. And this relationship between the rats and the cat lord. And so now you have returned, and it is springtime, and it is a beautiful, bright, and sunny day outside. And Oaks Grove is a tangle of massive trees, and Oaks Grove itself overlooks the earldom, and you can see as far as your mouse eyes can see off into the horizon. You can see forests off in the distance, and it just looks like you're like in the literal sky in the clouds. And high up on top of the oak tree are nests of birds, and the mice of Oaks Grove are known for being able to mount on robins and ride them into battle and to transport as swift messengers. And Oaks Grove is also known. You're also known as like the most erudite of the mouse people of the earldom, and you're led by by a noble mouse named Count Whiskers Glove, and merchants, traders, warriors, and now heroes. You have two heroes among you who are very well known already among the mice here. In the tree itself is an old statue. It's probably like meant as like a yard ornament, but it's a big stony mouse covered in vine and moss, and it's hanging off onto its side. And then you have all these little mouse cubby holes here, all the hundreds of mice. It's one of the most populated villages in the earldom, and you are currently at the White Cheese Tavern.
I do love white cheese.
You're at the White Cheese Tavern. There's tons of mice in here. All kinds of mice. And all of them have come to know, at the very least, August and Shim. But let's go around the table and talk about our mice. Chris, tell us about August.
August, the mouse hero, he, very, very charismatic, brags pretty often about his mousiness, but in all honesty, he only survived the adventure by pretty much being a total coward. But, he tries not to mention that too much. Shim probably knows, but the rest just get the story version of the story. He's grayed a little bit, probably from the stress of his last adventure. Fairly silked out, smooth, silky kind of fur. always twitchy, always kind of looking over his shoulder for whatever's happened next. And that's August.
All right. And now you've all gathered here at a table at the White Cheese Tavern because you have accepted a quest. A quest no one else has been willing to accept. None of the bird riders, none of the other warriors of the village. And you're all sitting here together. What about, let's see, Shim Thistlewim? Steve, tell us about...
So, Shim is a tiny little guy, even for a mouse. Not particularly shy, but usually has his mouth full of a seed or something. Likes to eat. He's got light brown fur with white speckles and long dreadlocks that he can't seem to get rid of. And he's seems to be talking a lot, but you can't really make anything out through the because his mouth is full.
Yeah.
When his mouth isn't full, he's fairly quiet. That's about it.
I'm scared to ask what his mouth is full of.
Probably seeds.
Seeds, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Such a manly mouse chewing on seeds.
like he would have like a whole loaf of bread, like just shoving his mouth and thinks he's saying something interesting, but
oh yeah, you're a mouse, so a seed is like this big.
Yeah, really big.
Yeah. Nice. All right. What about Sorrel Catriazin? You're muted.
Okay, how about now? Is that better?
Yeah, it's good.
I had it both muted here and on my laptop, so
Nice.
I was double muted, so it took me a minute. So Sorrel is an older mouse. He's very wizened in his elder years of probably being a year old, maybe even older. As far as mice go, he is a ferryman, or was a ferryman for a really long time, where he would, in the spring seasons, he would ferry a leaf across the streams that would arise in the springtime. And throughout his years in probably the outer skirts of Oaks Grove, he has gained knowledge and wisdom, but he likes to keep to himself and keep his knowledge hidden away, and is very esoteric and mysterious about it. Speaks in riddles and whatnot. But yeah, he thinks himself a guide most of the time, and he likes to lead by actions and not by words.
Nice. Perhaps you know then this person who no one else will take his quest. Perhaps you know the great mouse wizard, Marjoram the Magnificent, and he is the crazy person in town. But as you all have returned, it's not long after that threats have been received by Oaks Grove, and messages have been sent, and the Cat Lord Balthazar has openly declared his intentions now against Oaks Grove in particular, and for interfering in the Cat Lord's liberation of what he was doing to Stumpsville. He has demanded a heavy tithe, which, if paid, would cause the mice of Oaks Grove to starve in the winter. So that looms over the mice of this place, and they face down a potential invasion. And so, the mouse wizard Marjoram claims that if you can obtain a certain sugary elixir, that he may be able to craft a potion which could be used to great effect and maybe turn the tide of these problems. Tell us about Hawthorne Seedfall.
Yes, Hawthorne's Seedfall. He's a Hawthorne is relatively youngish mouse. He cut his teeth on the raft cruise, working the rivers, and considers himself to be more badass than he actually is. He's brave, but he's also reckless. He's got black marbled fur, wears patchy clothes, and his recklessness makes him dangerous.
For those who have been rafters, raft workers, there is in fact a mighty river that sits at the base. If you look as the sun rises toward the forest, if you have your furry mouse back to that and face away to where the sun rises, you can see well below you, because you got these like 2 or 3 trees that kind of are intertwined that makes up Oaks Grove. Well below you is this raging, massive river. And if you work the rafts of that river, then you will have encountered all kinds of dangers in your times. Rat rafters, and possibly, if maybe it's just a boast, but it's possible you may have even seen one of the giants. Anyways, let's see. Lastly, well, before we go on to Edmund, so the mouse wizard Marjoram, yes, has told you, and you have accepted this quest to travel into the Great Felled Wood. And that is if you're facing just left of where the sun rises. You can see this other just cyclopean forest, that is probably not as tall as Oaks Grove, but there are many of them. But the worst thing of all is that you can see just how Oaks Grove is this massive tower that you live in. Some of them have been slain by some monster. Like these towering trees have been felled. And you can actually see them laying on their side, a bunch of them, and some of them hacked up. And you can, and the mice can hear horrible, horrible noises. And it's said that some who forage and hunt and travel and trade in the fields between here and there, the ground shakes with the horrible monsters that come there at sunrise. And that is why no other mouse has agreed to this quest. But the mouse wizard Marjoram wants you to travel beyond the Felled Wood. And somewhere beyond the Felled Wood is said to be a hut. And in that hut is a group of religious zealots, a group of mice that believe they have discovered the secret of immortality. And he wants you to go there and obtain a sample of whatever essence that they have that they work with. And he's willing to pay you 20 pips each. Think.
20 pips?
Yeah, what is the level here? I actually forgot about that. Leveling.
I've only got 1 pip to my name, so 20 is quite a bit more than that.
I think that's a lot. Sure, it'd be 20 pips. So, anyways, tell us about Edmund Danger.
Edmund Danger is I guess the picture doesn't represent him perfectly, but he has solid tan fur. He's, I think, a little bit on the younger side. His background is in leatherworking, and so he's skilled with shears, needle, and thread, making light armor and clothing and that sort of thing. He, from a personality perspective, he isn't that interesting. He's a hard worker, and but he doesn't have that great of an imagination, and he has one distinguishing feature, that is he's missing his ear. Now, I haven't quite figured out why, but his ear's missing, and so that's an easy way to pick Edmund out of a crowd.
Now, on the matter of equipment, you have shears. I couldn't figure out if that was a weapon or if it's equipment, or it could be both. But if it is a weapon, you should just know the damage for it. I don't have it. I gave you a sword if you wanted to use that, because I didn't know. But then I know you also have a shield and jerkin, which should be probably something you made, since you're a crafter of goods. And then you got like a button or something, or maybe you made one out of, something. But I think it says 1 defense, but if you carrying a shield, I think it gives you 2 defense. I think. So.
Okay.
I think defense is taken from the damage, which is pretty huge. But then again, you only have 1 hit point, so yikes.
I didn't think of this before. Would I be able to grab some stuff with my previous pips?
Yeah, you can purchase items, and you should be able to access the. Can everybody access the compendium? Yeah.
And it's got prices in it. This thing's awesome.
Awesome, yeah. So you can do it from the book, from the prices you see there. So you can purchase stuff, including, as you do that. So you've already accepted this job, and you'll set out tomorrow to adventure across the wastes of the felled wood. But you can also attempt to hire people. You can purchase beetle mounts. You can do stuff in town. And while you're looking at equipment, everyone can also obtain a rumor. And if there's a duplicate, then I'll just bump you up to the next rumor. But I'll just go around the table and start with August. If you roll a d6, I'll give you a rumor.
Four.
Okay. In your time here at the White Cheese Tavern, August, word gets around, as it does about August, that you're going to go on another mighty adventure and save the people once again, probably, right? And, your brother is spreading rumors about you. I don't know if you remember your mouse brother. Yeah.
Roderick.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And so, as a result of that, like a bunch of your mouse brother's friends who are like juvenile mice come up to you, and they tell you that they assume that you're traveling beyond the what's called the Cave of Gormenghast, which, if you look toward where the sun rises, if you go toward the felled wood, you would turn left, but if you look toward where the sun rises, it's toward the right. And beyond the cave, where the river snakes into the fairy wood, if you cross there is a great rock of obsidian stone that juts out diagonally from the ground, casting a great shadow. Now, every mice in the earldom knows of this stone, but they tell you that they know why mice disappear there, because that's the legend. There's a children's story that says that mice that go there are turned into monsters. But they tell you that that's not true, and somebody came back from there, and one of your brother's friends is like, it's because there's a wolf there. A wolf is going and eating the mice. It's probably that same wolf from Gormenghast.
Sounds like a place that I will be sure to avoid.
All right, and let's see. Shim, you're still looking at gear. Sorrel, roll a d6, please.
Okay. Also, as a former raftman, do I know the direction of these supposed giants, or where they're rumored to come from?
Yes. None of the mice have seen giants. But perhaps you have, or perhaps you boast about it, but they always come, if you were to face the direction of the rising sun, they come from the left. Far beyond the war zones of the ant people. And it's said that far off in the distance that there's smoke that rises up. So much smoke that the sun is blotted out and the sky is blotted out by the smoke. Sorry. Let's see. You can still roll a d6 though. What'd you get on the 6? D6.
I trying to roll, but my thing's not updating. Like my chat's not updating.
Oh, it's doing it on my end. I think it's just lagging on your end. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a 5 on the first one. So, you have heard that where the river snakes, where it forks and snakes to the left beyond that jagged obsidian stone, that there are that the fairies in the Fairywood actually have a castle, and in that castle is an arcane master beyond anything. Just die, I guess. Sorry. And let's see. Shim, we'll roll a d6. 5. I'll bump it up.
Everybody's rolling 5.
Perhaps this is where you kind of began to listen to. Perhaps it was you who listened to Sorrel, and then came to hear the crazy tales of the mouse wizard Marjoram, because you were the one that heard that the mice beyond the filled wood believe they have the secret to everlasting life. And they call them the Cult of Sugar.
The Cult of Sugar, alright.
Let's see here. Hawthorne, roll a d6. Or did we... Yeah. Sorry, do you? No. Okay.
Nope.
Oof.
There we go. Oh.
You have heard that not only are these demands being made in the open, but that for the mice people that live along the Great River, that they're disappearing. And if ransoms aren't paid, they're being eaten by the Cat Lord. And then lastly, Edmund, if you'd roll a d6. A 3. Okay. You hear mice chatting. You hear some of the women mice here chatting in the tavern. They're enjoying what Oaks Grove is known for, which is, of course, the delicious berry pies. I know I said they're known for merchants and academics and dove riders, and that's true, but they also have like the most delicious pies ever, berry pies. And so they're enjoying berry pies, and you hear them talking. They say, "It's so sad to hear what happened to the Earl. Now I don't know if we'll make it through the winter with him, and they say he doesn't even have an heir. Why, with everything going on, even with the Mice Kingdom might even come to war."
Wars a brewing.
Wars against other mice or wars with the cat lord?
You interrupt them and ask that question. They look up. Oh, hello, dearie. Yes. Well, it's just that they say that there's no heir to the earldom of Eck, and that the Earl of Eck, well, he's dying. Who will claim it? Do you know? What's his name? Grove.
Earl of Eck.
I can't remember his name, and I can't find where he's at. But, yes, the other, here it is. Count Larkspur, of Minhir, he's, well, I don't mean to speak ill of a good noble mouse, but, they say bad things about the Count. And I imagine that our fair Count Whiskers Glove would not allow our people to fall under something like that, so it doesn't bode well.
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry for interrupting the pie eating.
Oh, please have some pie. They cheerfully offer you what pie they have.
Good part.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you can recruit people, you can buy things, you can try to obtain items, or you can take what rest you need, gather your equipment, and you'll leave in the morning. Is there anything else that you all want to do in Oaks Grove?
You guys want to hire some people?
Are we getting any advance on our 20 pips? Or is it cash on delivery?
He claims that he will be unable to meet some of his own obligations to be able to advance any pips. So no advance cash.
Fair enough. I did have an extra weapon. I took a dagger.
Nice.
It was on, I don't know, the random roll sheet when I did it, and it said choose a random or an extra weapon. So I attempted to put it on my sheet, but I failed.
Oh, I can do that. I'm sorry that it did that. Here you go. There's your dagger.
All right.
So I've got some leftover pips from my last adventure. If you guys want to, if you guys think we need some extra hands on board, we can do that. Otherwise, good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Edmund and myself as a player is not really sure what we're about to encounter, or if 5 mice will be up for the challenge, or if an additional 6th or 7th could be helpful.
Can I see if there are any of my old crafting buddies around?
Let me see. I suppose, yeah, you know that, you could attempt to hire a couple of different ones. You know 2 of them, your rafting buddies. One of them, you would have advantage on this check to hire them. So, you could essentially offer them, like, hey, we'll pay you based on what we get too, They are a mere simple laborer. So they can be a pack rat. You can buy them a weapon or give them a simple weapon. And then alternately, you happen to know of an expert rafter who you are not on the best of terms with, but you know that they are versed in the lands of the earldom. And they're actually a paid guide, both on the river and otherwise. You would need to pay, but they could actually act as a guide and have advantage on like exploration and travel rolls.
Okay. Well, I'll be satisfied with getting my two laboring, working class mice on our side.
All right. Let's see here. Do you want to pay them outright, or do you want to attempt to try to convince them to join you?
I only have a single pip, so I can't really divide a pip by two.
Sure. All right.
But I would offer them my share of 20 pips full, so they'd each get 10 pips.
Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can cover them, but
Okay. Wow. Okay, so that succeeds automatically. And then if you offer 20 pips, you find that all of their friends, I'll max out the dice number too, 5 other laborers are eager to join this for that kind of money.
Right.
Hmm.
I find a thimble or something to stand on as I announce to them all that we will only be able to do this if we work together. And then I look to the group of us around here, and I probably point at like August and Shim, and say, "These young spry mice are seasoned adventurers, and we will follow them and aid them in their journey.
Nice.
It is our duty to the earldom."
You can get advantage on your next morale check for them. They will follow your command. And they are Daisy, Juniper, Shell, Ambrose, and Burdock, and they have 8 stats across the board with, let me look here, with two hit points.
Sorry, Daisy, what?
Juniper, Shale, Ambrose, and Burdock.
Alright.
They have random bric-a-brac, but they do not have any weapons or equipment to speak of, or food.
Okay.
I'll equip them.
Wow.
That could be I can help.
All right. Yeah, I'll leave you to that as far as if you want to purchase it from the compendium. And we will. Does anybody want to do anything else in Oaks Grove? No.
I would like to check with a guide if we're gonna, or check with I guess ask around, since we're gonna be crossing this no man's land, this field. Is there a way around it? Can we take the river, for instance, along the edge, and make up some time so we don't have to cross the entire field of fell trees?
It's not hard to find someone who there's maybe the Dove Riders. I don't know. Is Edward lagging? Is it just me? It might be me. Is it working for you guys?
I'm good.
Okay, it's me then.
Everything's okay for you.
Okay, maybe I should rejoin Discord. I don't know. I'm gonna try that.
And Jake, by the way, I haven't seen you since the last game, and nice to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that looks like it might be working better. Sorry, I had some lag. Sorry about that. But Edward, I did hear you say that you're gonna ask around for guides, and the people you find to talk to are the famous blue-coated Dove Riders, or Robin Riders, and you go up to their nest and you ask them about the environs, and they can tell you that in the direction the sun rises, that if you turn generally just a little to the left, that is where the felled woods are. But if you're trying to get to that old shack, which they've flown over, that the felled woods are the closest, they're the most direct route. But if you are to try to go around it, there are only 2 options, and they are more circuitous. One is to turn to the right, from where the sun rises to the right, And that way leads to the Cave of Gormenghast. And then from the Cave of Gormenghast, you would need to pass through the Fairywood. And by that way, you could circumnavigate it to the right. Alternately, you could go to the left, but it is said that to the left, the Great Ant War is raging. And beyond the War of the Ants is a massive barrier that towers into the sky. And beyond that is smoke, and it's said that the giants live. But if you can travel beyond that barrier and worry not about what these rumors about giants beyond there, that you could probably go around and then come back around that barrier and make it to the shack.
All right, good to know. Fellows, what do you think as far as travel plans in the morning?
I wonder if we could ask about how many days travel it is across the Feldwood, if we go by foot, or if it's like part of a day, or just to get an idea if we go straight there.
No one has traveled that way, but the Robin Riders can tell you that if they had to guess, they think it would be about a half-day journey without any interruptions through the Feldwood.
Okay.
All right, so let's see here. You get all your equipment and your mouse backpack on and everything, and however you're carrying your gear, and you spiral your way down the great towers of Oaks Grove, and you make it into the forest floor below, which to you is this towering above you are these is shoots of grass as far as you can see off in the distance, and it breaks up up your skyline, and you can't see what's beyond it. The best you have is what they say about where the sun is. The next morning. Let's see here. Actually, maybe down at the bottom of this.
I have successfully outfitted the little mice.
Yay.
Thanks, Steve.
Also, I forgot to mention this in my introduction, but the one item that I rolled that was interesting for my mouse was a hammer, but I think it's more fitting if I reskin it as like a spoon that he used as an oar for for ferrying people across, but it's also he uses as a hammer.
Nice.
That's awesome. So what they've got is they've each got a needle, which didn't cost anything. Nice little shiv. They've each got slings.
Very nice.
One has twine for rope. One has a wooden pole. One has a shovel. One has a metal file. One has a fishing hook. And one has a crowbar. So all the random dungeon crawl stuff.
Very cool. Okay, so when you make it down to the base of Oaks Grove and you look out to where the sun rises up above the blades of grass, you know that way toward the rising sun must be the felled trees or the felled forest. The Feldwood. If you were to turn a bit to the right is where they say the Cave of Gormenghast must be. If you keep the sun to your left, if you keep the sun to your right and turn left, somewhere off in the distance are the Ant Wars. Which direction do you go?
Friends, I suggest we go straight through the woods. While they are dire and dangerous, the Cave of Gormenghast could be worse. There's wolves to be rumored there, and I don't know about you, but I don't fancy getting eaten on this particular journey.
Hear, hear. I agree. Ever since I was young, I was told of rumors of large birds that fly through the air that pluck us mice out of open fields. However, the fastest way, I believe, is straight there, and if we can keep an eye to the sky, perhaps we can get there unscathed.
Agreed.
I just connected my Ethernet cable, so hopefully this works. That should help a lot. Okay, so, all right, you start following the path of the sun. Let's see here. At first, it's not difficult. It's just forest, which for you are these blades of grass for a long ways. One watch passes. And you're able to pass peacefully. You do notice in the straight ahead of you that eventually the towering trees start to come into view. This is the Feldwood. It's like a great many oaks groves put together. You've never seen so many in your whole life. Every once in a while, just as Edmund mentioned, a massive black crow will land somewhere up in the loft of the trees, and you find you have to dodge and hide under one of the blades of grass or one of the tufts of the earth. And the crow will pass, and you continue on, and you're able to make it all the way into the forest, but then you find something that greatly slows you down. It's true. The towers of Oaks Grove, these massive towering trees, some of them are felled on their sides, some of them are gutted, and even more alien, moats of them. You've seen things like this before. Oaks Grove has been hit by storms. So you'll find scorch marks sometimes on the sides of the tower of Oaks Grove. And within you might find an oozing thing coming out of it. And here you find that ooze all over the place. And what's worse, it's I don't know how to describe this, but it's like someone took the very tower of Oaks Grove and then turned it into chunky moats. And it covers the forest floor around you, and it's these blocky moats that you have to, and they hang on your skin and they jab into you and you have to clamber over them. It is uncomfortable and horrifying that something like your home could have this happen to it. And then the ground starts to shake and you begin to hear noises. And somewhere off to your left, a great rumbling of the earth happens, and you find that you almost have to hold your ears. It's so loud. Something awful is happening in this place, but you can still see where the sun is. This all slows you down a lot. Nice. Fortunately for you all, you're able to pass the next 2 watches into this forest. The chunky moats of towers around you. The dead wastes of what could have been many of the homes of your people. And half the morning is gone when finally you see that the nature of the towers changes. Now, you know, like in this image here you see deciduous trees, right? Where they reach up to the sky. The earth changes and there's a heat on the ground. And it's as if the ground is covered in long, narrow threads. For a mouse, almost like narrow logs, just piles of it everywhere. And then suddenly it's like the trees invert. It's the most alien thing that you've ever seen. You've never seen towers do this before. And these towers that you've known your whole life suddenly just completely change. And you hear a buzzing noise and you see the edge of a shack breaking the line of sight of the trees. You think if you continue ahead another couple of watches, you'll make it. But you think you see the shack. I didn't get that. What'd you say?
I said, shall we continue on?
Yeah, you could just continue straight there, to be clear. Yeah, you could keep going.
Is the buzzing emanating from the shack itself?
Yes.
Are we being followed or watched by anybody?
You look around, and just from where I described it last time, you look around and you take the time. Maybe you have everybody like dive under one of the it looks like, again, your entire home, this massive tower, a whole chunk is taken out of it, and then moats and debris of it are kind of scattered around, and you look ahead and you have those alien trees, and maybe you go into one of those holes and you wait, and you kind of listen, you smell. You don't think you're being followed or watched.
Is the loud rumbling from our left still happening? Or
Yes.
have we passed that? Okay.
But it's like behind you and to the left, and it's gotten quieter. But yes.
Okay.
Okay. You guys want to keep... Oh, go ahead.
I feel very uneasy. Perhaps we should continue with as much stealth as we can muster.
Perhaps
I agree.
we try to watch the hut from a distance for a little bit once we get closer.
Okay, so do you all want to take like a considerable amount of extra time to both move as stealthily as possible and then try to get it into sight and then stop and observe it for a while? Is that the plan?
Yeah, and to be clear, do these moats of wood and debris, do they continue up to the hut, or do they stop short of it?
They stop. Yeah, as soon as the tree... So like the first thing that changes is actually the earth. It feels warmer, even stifling. And the earth, the ground is covered in... I don't even know how to describe it. I'm going to draw it. It looks like this all around you. Whoa. Is it not going to let me draw? It's not going to let me draw. Okay. Oh, it's letting me draw. It's just too thin. I get it. Let me make it like this, maybe? There we go. It's just like this. Just like needles everywhere. And this is even more uncomfortable. It slows you down a lot.
These are like pine needles on the ground?
Yeah, you probably have never seen anything like this before. Yeah, and the trees, like I said, it's like the trees suddenly just inverted on themselves. And ahead of you, that's the case. And then these moats, to answer your question, Jake, they're behind you from where we last described it. But yeah. So you guys, go ahead.
Do you think we could collect these strange grass-like needles and make some type of weave them into some type of blanket to give us cover as we're moving as a pack of like nearly a dozen mice? It may be having some type of cover as we move forward would be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can. To do that, you'll need to take time. It'll take a full watch, and you'll move even slower. But you'll have like a cover that you can literally like Viet Cong your way through here and just like cover yourself. And
I'm picturing that scene from Toy Story where they have like the cup and the cheeseburger box, but it's just pine needles. So it's like pine needles moving, and then we stop and we sit down.
Yep.
And the pine needles moving.
Yeah. So you spend a watch making camouflage, moving silently, and making it to where you only make it just up to this. So this takes a long time. Let me describe what happens. I got some work to do here. It is well into the afternoon then by the time you reach there. Gotta check a couple things. Okay. This is while you're gathering pine needles. Okay. You're gathering pine needles when all of a sudden a group of mice appears above a hedge. And you're gathering these pine needles and then they're just like looking at you. And you recognize these mice. They're fugitives. And they look at you.
Fugitives from where?
From Oaks Grove. They've been accused of murder. They're a gang of mice that have been cast. They're being hunted by the Robin Riders. And one of them they're all dressed all scraggly, and they've got weapons. And one of them puts his hands on his furry hips, stares down at you. They're like up above, you're like gathering all this stuff and making a camouflage thing. And they look down at you from up above, and he says, "Well, looky here. Fancy meeting a group of mice here."
And who might you be?
I'm Conrad. And you recognize the name Conrad. You know that Conrad and his gang are on the run, and that they're criminals.
Would you be the same Conrad from Oak Grove who's accused of murder and treachery?
Accused. Now looky here. It's no hair off my whiskers if I just let you be about your business. Me and my fellows who just scurry on by. No harm done. He like pulls his cloak back and puts his paw on the hilt of a what do you call it, a threading needle.
We're at an impasse, gentlemen. On the one hand, we're not out for these men. Try to talk quietly. We're not out for these mice. At the same time, I'm sure there's a reward. What should we do?
Well, I think we come back and get him later. Continue with our quest.
Is it dangerous to leave them at our back door while we're trying to complete this quest?
Do we outnumber them?
Yeah. Like 2 to 1.
That could be.
I'm going to ask him what his business in this area is.
My business is none of yours. And your business is none of mine.
Conrad, do you know anything about the hut that I see up ahead of us, from where the sun rises?
Ah, yes, I see that. No interest in it for me. I hear strange things about that place. We're on our way out of here. I guess I'll tell you. I have heard that the lands of the giants contain treasures beyond what anyone could imagine. And all these stories about giants are just made up to keep us mice in line.
So that's where you're headed then, the land of giants?
That's right.
Well then hit the road, Conrad.
He does a overly sarcastic, sanctimonious bow, and then he twirls around on his paws, and they walk away amongst the thistles.
Well, I don't think we have to worry about them coming back. They seem like a problem that will solve themselves.
Better them than us.
I do think we should keep an eye out for them later, though, just to be sure. I don't trust that they won't double back on us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we are in a moment of weakness or vulnerable.
So you gather all these needles and stuff, and you slowly work your way among the forest floor into these alien trees to make it up to the shack. And you get about halfway, and it's late morning. And then you start to hear a humming noise. And it's mice that are humming some kind of like a chant. Ha-da-be-da, ha-da-be-da, like it sounds like Gregorian. You're covered in thistles, you're camouflaged, so you can't see them yet.
I definitely think we should get a closer look.
I didn't think to ask if these gentlemen were dangerous.
Suddenly the chanting comes to a halt. You hear whispering. And then the whispering stops.
Was the humming was coming from the hut?
Yeah, towards where the sun rises. Yeah, straight ahead.
Okay. Do we have an idea of how many inches we are away from this hut?
Well, the problem is that you're moving slowly, stealthily, trying to camouflage yourself, and you're covered in thistles. So you're probably about, I don't know, maybe 50 yards away or something. But it will probably still take you 2 or 3 watches to get there.
I guess for clarification, so the chanting was also coming from the hut?
Well, from the direction of it. The direction that you're traveling, yeah. Maybe off to the side a little bit. And then this chanting stops, there's whispers, and it's quiet. And while we're, haven't decided anything, the quiet continues for a little bit, and then you hear the rustling noises. And the rustling comes from your right front where you heard the noises, and the rustling moves ahead of you to your left front.
Are we detected? Possibly. Something noticed us and stopped chanting?
What do you think? Should we go in and get a closer look? Move in the direction that the sound is coming from? Or do we sit tight and let them pass?
I think perhaps we should sit tight for a bit.
I agree.
Sure.
Okay.
Hunker down.
So you do that and you stay still, and then it's very hot here. But it's a nice crisp spring day, but for some reason this forest floor is very hot. And this noise passes out in front of you, this rustling noise. It stops for a little bit. You hear whispering. You can't make out what they're saying, but you know they're mice. There's no doubt about that. And then you hear a little bit of chanting, some whispering, and then rustling as they move on off to your left front, off out of earshot.
Do we assume that these are cultists?
Sounds possible.
Sugar cultists?
This could be a scouting party. Or guards of some sort, perhaps.
Well, we can't hear them anymore. Shall we keep moving?
Yeah, let's press on.
Should we follow the rustling, or should we press on towards the hut?
Let's press on towards the hut, but let's try to keep off the path that they were moving.
Yeah, let's angle off to if they went from our left to right. Let's angle off to the left a little bit and circumvent them.
It takes you a full 3 watches, and it is now mid-afternoon. But by mid-afternoon, with the sun high in the sky now, the shack comes into view. This thing is not currently here. But I will describe what you see in front of you. The shack, although it's not as high as one of the towering trees, is almost as high, but 50 times as wide. From the moats that you saw and the felled woods, you get the strange alien sense, and it just like turns your little tummy to see that this shack is made of the towers of your homes, stacked on their sides all the way up to the size of a tower itself. And also here are other strange alien towers that wiggle and writhe greenly up, almost as high as a tower. They have a strange, like, glimmering effervescence of yellow and black. And there are these things that fatly hang in the air, bzz, 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 high up above. It makes the air vibrate around you all the way down to the ground. The side of the shack is open, but it's dark. Let me see what else you would see from here. It is cool and quiet now. The earth is soft and brown, and the stalks of these things, of the center one. So like these are green. I said they were green, but these are green. This center stalk is black and lustrous, and because you took your time getting here, and you're very well concealed with your camouflage, you'll see everything else around here, and you can decide what to do with it. For one thing, at some point, this massive animal does come into view, and it has an overwhelming stench. It just smells terrible. You think you would have trouble trying to get closer to that big felled tower. And you see it move around a little bit, find something to eat it, come back, and then fall asleep on its side inside the felled tower. It snores loudly. This is actually much more overgrown than it looks, with big towering stalks of grass. It's dark inside, as I said, so you can't see what's inside this big, huge cabin. But that's what you can see from where you currently are.
Is there an entrance? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is there an entrance that we see into this cabin?
Yeah, the whole side of it's like got 3 walls. It's got like 2 walls, and then one thing is like kind of like a stall kind of set up, and then one side is open.
Do we catch any like scents or anything coming off of this structure, or are our noses pretty much busy with this creature that smells worse than Shim?
It's not that bad.
I think you would have to risk kind of like moving forward, or you would have to really just suck in some air. So those are your 2 risky options to try to get past this musk to smell. Use your mouse snoot.
We're going for it. I'm just gonna
You're gonna just
breathe
it in. All right.
just tightly as I can.
All right. Then you will find out what it smells like around here. But to do that, you must make a strength save.
A strength save. Here we go. That's a D20 roll under my strength score, right?
That's right.
And that does not happen.
You try to breathe in, and you hear all of a sudden August starts like making throw up noises uncontrollably and starts running, terrified. And 2 things happen. One is that among the dry leaves, you start to trip from the stench. It gets worse. You get dizzy, August. You trip on some of these leaves and their stems. You realize that there are bones here of many small critters and frogs and probably mice from this massive creature. And there's also all the belongings of those frogs and mice. However, this thing may wake up, and I'm going to see if it does. Does not. It snorts, sort of like looks like it's going to wake up a little bit, raises an eye. You stay hidden among the leaves, and you like keep trying. You hold your nose, keep trying to keep from throwing up, and it doesn't wake up, and it goes back to sleep, snoring loudly. You've learned at least to hold your nose, but you're now here, having stumbled in terror among the dry leaves and bones of this place. You're about maybe 12 inches away from everybody else, and a turn passes. What do y'all do next? You can tell that there are shiny things amongst the bones as well.
I'm bold and reckless and kind of dumb, so I'm gonna join August, and I want to try to look see what I can find in some of these bones.
All right. What about everybody? What's everyone else doing?
Edmund's attention is drawn toward the huge black stalk in the middle of all those other green stalks, and he wants to get a closer look at the base of that.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to move. And what about Sorrel?
I think what I want to do, or what Sora would do, is I think he's gonna sit back and wait, and I want to like listen to the wind and try to be like let my whiskers twitch at any type of sign of danger and try to be on alert.
Okay. Yeah, I will give an advantage, but you'll have to. The downside is that it'll be an advantage just for you to notice something, and then if if something happens, you'll have to yell out, revealing out where you are. But
Right.
let's see here. So we'll actually make the roll before you find out if it happens. But let's see. Shim, what's Shim doing?
Shim is going to try to quietly go up to everybody and say, watch Sorel and I, and if we raise our hands, there's danger. So drop if there's danger.
Okay. You tell Hawthorne that. Okay. So yeah, we'll add something to that here. So here's the thing, Hawthorne. Well, first of all, August, what are you doing? You see Hawthorne coming towards you, and you see all this
And
happening.
I'm quietly backing up, trying to not rouse the creature that I've noticed. I just kind of look to Hawthorne as he's approaching and give him the old Gandalf, back, you fool, and just kind of keep inching backwards slowly.
Okay, so you're trying to get out of this situation, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that will help you. You'll have advantage on any initiative, and you will not be noticed. So, all right, August starts kind of backing away. Meanwhile, Hawthorne, you're crawling past him to see what's among these bones. Now, in order to do this, you have to not have this thing wake up, which I'm going to do at disadvantage, because they're watching. We're kind of rolling before the result in this case. I'm looking for it. Here it is, Shig. At disadvantage. It's weird. There we go. Disadvantage is 15, so August, you're able to get away, and Hawthorne, you're able to get among the bones. Hawthorne, roll a d20. Let me see. 5. Roll a d20 6 times.
All right.
It says roll a d20 twice plus once more for each that is true. That'd be 6. That'd be all 6. Alright, let's see what you find. Among the bones here, Hawthorne, you find oh. Okay. I guess I need to open the book, actually. But we're talking about treasure, so that's worth it, I think.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Treasure 38. Whoops. Okay, so it's a 6, which is a... so the first thing you find, roll a d6.
All right.
You find a huge thing. And you think you could drag it out of here. It's a huge bottle of some kind of liquor. It would take up 4 slots for you to drag this thing along the ground. But it's worth 500 pips, you think, if you can get it out of here.
I'm going to leave it for now. What else do I see?
All right, roll a d.
My thought is this: is that if I find stuff that's, I'm there amongst the bones. If I find stuff that I think is going to be useful, I can kind of pick it up and chuck it back towards these guys.
Oh, okay, yeah. You find, unfortunately, the next thing you find is even harder to try to do anything with, and it would probably take another roll to get it together, because scattered among the bones are a bunch of pips. 5 pips scattered about various bones. You also find It's a tube with a phalange that contorts at the end. Your human mind would know this as a drinking straw for a soda. You could actually pick that up without issue.
Okay.
It takes up 2 slots, I'll say. Just because it's bulky.
Okay. Okay.
You could throw it as well.
Draw for now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Can I chuck it like a spear back towards towards our guys?
Yeah, totally. This one won't make much noise, so you can chuck it back. Now you guys have a big drinking straw with and of course the end like like whatever,
Is it a bendy straw?
Bendy straw. Yeah, thank you. And then you also find a bag of pips. Glorious.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, now this will clink. It will make noise if you throw it. But it is 150 pips in a bag.
Oh, I will take them and not throw them.
That will take up one... actually, there's something in the rules about you can carry a bag of pips. And I think you can carry up like 1,000 pips or something. And then
it's 250.
Thank you. Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to carry a bag of 150 pips.
Yeah, and that'll fit in your mouse purse.
I'll put it on my backpack or in my backpack or whatever.
Nice. All right, and then you also find whoa. Gilded and shining, but tilted over onto its side is what is simply a throne. To your mouse brain, or to your human brain, this would be a chair set for a dollhouse. But it's clear that mouses have used this for noble mice to sit upon. It's an ancient mouse throne. You think it's worth probably 1,000 pips. It takes up 6 slots, though.
Yeah, that's gonna have to stay there with the bottle. All this stuff we can come back for later. I'm gonna write it down, and we'll know that it's there, right?
All right. And the last thing is yet another bag that you find among them. And it's got sadly 5 pips in the bag.
Yeah, 5 pips is 5 pips. So I'm gonna leave the scattered pips because that's gonna take too much be too much trouble. I'm going to leave anything that's too big to carry out of there. I've thrown the straw. I will take the bag of 150 pips and the bag of 5 pips and try to back out of there slowly.
All right. Now, you're able to do that. So with everyone watching and everyone listening, you're able to regroup without any issue, and you have a big bendy straw. Now, meanwhile, over with Edmund, you go and you check out this towering black... the stalk, and it is black and lustrous, and you can see that it looks like it would be tough, and it would be a fatal fall, but you think you could probably climb it. If you have equipment to climb it with, you won't have to make a check, but if you don't have equipment, it would be very exhausting and it would be difficult and you might fall. The head of this thing, these things are buzzing, vibrating the air around you with their buzzing. And it has a yellow luminescence, but it is black. And there are all these tiny little honeycomb patterned, because it's so tightly knit. To your human mind, these are the seeds of the thing, but they are black. And a ghostly plume irradiates around it.
All right. Edmund opts not to climb, as he knows that he's a pretty clumsy mouse and probably wouldn't be great at climbing. No climbing equipment either. Is there any chance I could use my shears to take a little sample, like something I could hold in my hand, of the black stalk and put it in my pouch?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
You shave off a carbaceous, I think it might be the term for it, a very starchy shoot of this stalk. It takes up 1 item slot.
All right. Then I'll go back to the group.
Okay. You all regroup. What do you want to do next?
I suppose we should have a plan for what we'll do if and when we run into these other mice.
Well, we could deter them by telling them where the treasure is that we just found.
Mhm. Yeah, or we could bargain with them and let them know where they could find that stuff.
All right. What else? I suppose just in broad strokes, where are you going? In the time that we have left, it's probably early evening at this point. So before you become exhausted and run out of supplies and need to return to Oaks Grove, yeah, do you want to, what would you like to investigate here? Or would you like to go somewhere else?
I think we should go inside this this building, this structure, whatever.
Unimaginative
Yeah,
admin agrees.
Takes you, it's slow going. It takes you the remainder of this watch. But you're able to travel carefully and quietly. And other than the buzzing, you don't hear anything. Until you get to this overgrown section here. There is a barrier here. Part of it is torn down. You can hear the low humming above you. And then there's this towering, menacing structure, which are like many of the largest thing you'd ever seen in your life was Oaks Grove. You know, the towering trees. That would, to a human mind, it would look like it was like 2,000 feet tall, and you lived amongst its heights. And it looks as if someone took those towers and made it on its side, It's like absolutely horrific and psychedelic to see this to you. I'm wrong, actually. There is a wall here, but the door is rotting. There might as well not be a door or a wall. It's rotting and hanging off the hinges, and you can see what's inside from there. However, it is completely dark inside. So you can't see because you don't, so you don't have light. Also, let me give you your followers. I apologize. You've got how many? 5.
I mean,
Yes,
I've got a
there are
torch.
5, then Daisy, Juniper, Shale, Ambrose, Burdock.
I've got 3 torches. Should we see what we can make out from the light of the door when it's behind us first, or get in there and strike some torches? You guys think?
Move in, see if our eyes adjust a little bit to pick up the low light, and if not, light some torches to provide visibility.
That sounds good.
Beauty. I'm just worried about us going in there and be like, okay, let's be stealthy, light some torches. Be like, who are you?
Yeah.
Maybe we should use our mouse noses and maybe our ears too.
All right. Yeah. So you do that.
That's true.
Yeah. You enter into the door and see if you can see. You cannot see, except for certain things, but I'll describe what you can hear and smell and see. So you can, first of all, it does smell different in here. It smells, it is dimly lit in beams of sunbeams that come in primarily to the roof. to where you can see this magnificent and bizarre display of some yellow, oozing, gelatinous substance dripping and oozing from the ceiling. Fatly, these large things with tiny wings are vibrating amongst it. And you can also see a hole, a mouse-sized hole, and it looks like it's been constructed with like a apex of rafters for mice and a little scurrying space down at the base of it, almost as if this was some kind of tunnel at the base of a waterfall of this yellow ooze. And anyways, you can't really see anything else from where you are. There's light coming in from up here, but you can't see. There's also, it smells very sweet in here. The sweetest smell you've ever smelled in your life. And
Smell that, fellas.
It smells like you've never smelled a tower like this, but you've smelled deadfall before. So it smells like rotted wood everywhere around you.
I wonder if we've found the magical elixir that Marjoram the Magnificent described.
It smells like the cult of sugar to me.
Mm-hmm.
It must be. This is spectacular.
But be on guard. Their hubbing guardians here seem to be very loud and dangerous.
Yes, that must be true as well.
Do you suppose that the mouse-sized hole in the base of it could possibly be where these cultists are living? And should we approach? I mean, we are here on good business, after all.
Perhaps we could slide up there and listen for a little bit. Before we go in the mouse hole.
Okay.
Still don't know if these people are friendly or not.
What were you going to say, Chris?
I just want to taste the good stuff.
I would like to, with the flat end of my spoon out in front of me, slowly start approaching the area that is lit. But I'm gonna use the flat edge of my spoon in front of me as if to not trip on something or bump into something that I can't see between me and that.
This is half the height from where you are to where it is, half the height of the Tower of Oaksgrove, the Towers of Oaksgrove. But you hold out your spoon, kind of as like a blind man's kind of stick, as it were. And shortly thereafter, you bump into the wall. And there is a towering, the sides of many towers like those of Oaksgrove just tower up above you, in the darkness.
So this lit area we can see is elevated from us. Yeah,
this is a side shot. This is not, yeah.
Our followers do have hook and twine, so I think we need to start. Maybe the younger and the more spry of our group can start trying to ascend.
It would be very difficult. Here's what you would need to do that. They do have the equipment, I think, but it is in the dark, and it's very high up. So, it would take 2 exhausted conditions per person doing it.
It's like you have the exhausted condition also.
It's good and bad news. It's like tickling the back of my throat now, which is like good because it's like healing. But it's bad because I'm dying here on camera and I can't play Mausritter right now. I'm sorry. But I'm determined. Okay, so... yeah, 2 exhausted conditions, and then the first person attempting it would need to make a strength save at disadvantage. And if they fall, it's d6 per 12 inches, which is almost certain death.
So, to be clear, this honeycomb that is at the top, this is at the top of the rafters of this place that we're in. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're on the ground right now, and this is you looking up at this.
Okay.
And it's dark, obviously. You can't see anything else. Yeah.
I guess we should probably light some torches, eh?
Yeah, I think maybe it might not be maybe it's a dumb idea, but again, Hawthorne is dumb and brave but dumb, and so it might not be. If people want to maybe take cover or something, I'd be willing to light up a torch and then try to hail the occupants of this place. I mean, like I said, we've been sent on a mission in good faith to procure some of this elixir of life and take it back to our people, our village. So I think we need to have a dialogue with whoever's in charge of this stuff. Might just be, I might take that risk for that conversation to happen.
I wonder, was it certain that we were coming on good faith, or were we supposed to get this by any means possible to save our beloved Oaks Grove?
I had it wrong. It's 1,000 pips, actually. It's not 20 pips. I was totally wrong.
Wow.
Sorry.
A lot of pips.
Yeah.
And I got to backpedal on giving them your share.
You can do 20 pips.
It was totally 20 pips.
20
the whole
pips
time,
is still a
yeah.
lot, though. So yeah, you can still do that. Yeah.
Friends, there are but 2 things I know for sure. 1, this mission will ensure that our people get to eat. 2, I am hungry right now and really want to taste that goopy stuff. I believe we should light a torch and just see what happens.
All right, so we got 3 plans. One is stay stealthy, stay in the dark, but one person take the risk of carrying the needle and thread up at risk of death to make it up in the dark, which would be a difficult test, but if you pass, everybody's able to climb up. But anybody that climbs up gets exhausted conditions. The second option is everybody hide, and Hawthorne announces himself openly, like, hey, I'm here, let's talk. And the third option is just light up a torch.
I think perhaps being straightforward is the wise thing to do.
What do you think, Edmund?
I like the idea of sacrificing Hawthorne to the cultists.
What about you, Sorrel?
Brave Mouse.
Well, you already said, yeah. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
And then, so that another option would be: is there to figure out a way we could try to fell this thing and drop it down to the ground where we could get to it, but I'm not sure what. That might anger the residents.
Yeah. Well, August, you have 4 options. You are the caller, so pick one of those 4.
Let's start by just lighting a torch. I feel like with some light, our other options might become a little bit more.
Who's lighting the torch? Okay, Hawthorne. Okay, here we go.
Hawthorne.
30 inches. Whoops, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Sorry, let me get rid of that. Light, 30 inches. Okay. Is everybody able to see that?
Yep.
This is what you can see with one matchstick. So you light a matchstick and you hold it up, and you can see some what do you call those things? I can't remember what they're called. But anyways, little wooden circle things and little sticks and things, and then this thing leaning against the wall. Now, I'm going to kind of move you around a bit so you can see. But yeah, it looks like there's like giant-sized furniture here that is broken and on its sides. That's what you can see from where you are. This discussion, I'd say, takes a bit of time here. Half of a watch. All right. And otherwise, you're left undisturbed, exploring in the vast dark of this cavernous structure. Where do you go next? I'm gonna just kind of go around the table here and get some ideas so we can keep moving. Shim, what do you think next?
I bet we can find a way up, but I'm still wondering if letting them know we're here and our intentions and what we're looking for is a good idea to, because they might not be hostile, and they might be willing to trade or barter in some fashion.
So you're able to look here. This old thing here, it's on its side. It will make it half as difficult. You'll get one exhausted condition, and with the torch lit, it is just a regular strength save. And you would take half the damage, which is still a lot of damage. It'd probably still kill a mouse. But one person would have to make it up. So that's the climbing option. August, climb or talk?
Talk.
Talk.
I like.
Okay.
I'm starting to like the talk plan.
Sorrel, climb or talk?
Sorry, talk.
Talk. All right, that's a majority. So we're gonna talk. So who goes forward and announces the group?
Are we going with the plan of people taking cover just in case, so we're not all exposed? Or I mean, it doesn't have to be just Hawthorne. If somebody could join me if they want to be dumb.
The allure of this goopy stuff has got me feeling kind of crazy. I'll talk with you.
All right. So here we go. Hawthorne and August, and then you go forward and announce yourself. This is what you see. You see a temple. Now, to your human mind, this is a bloated and ancient cast iron stove, black and partially rusted. And you can see light dancing on its insides, refracting against shards of something shiny. Wafting in the heat of whatever is cooking inside are these little banners, all cast at the top. To your human mind, these banners are candy wrappers, dangling like banners that have been captured, hanging from walls and doorways. And you hear the chanting again, chanting inside. And there's a little mouse here. Got two of them guarding the entrance, and they hold candy canes. And they bow to you as you approach. Their eyes are black, a cloudy star-like dust somewhere within the blacky inkness of their eyes. And they say, "Welcome, brothers. Have you come to taste the everlasting life of Sweet Tooth?" And then amongst the chanting you hear Sweet Tooth.
Yes.
Glorious day. And then he calls back, this mouse does, and he says, "Brother Glace, more have come to join the glorious truth of everlasting life of Sweet Tooth. And you hear from the inside bellowing, "Good. Bid them come and taste the truth of everlasting life of Sweet Tooth." And then you hear Sweet Tooth, like as they're like chanting. And they part and allow you to enter the temple if you choose.
Shim leans over and whispers, "Friendly bunch."
Too friendly. Well, I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm going in.
I'm gonna like
We've gotten this far. Why not?
I'm gonna superimpose you all as like one mouse because it's gonna get kind of tight. So you'll have to, if you want to access your character sheet, you'll need to do so in the character menu to the right, upper right, the actor menu. Okay, so you enter the vestibule of the temple, the stove, and inside the stove you're led into the back where there is and there's these banners hanging up above you as you come in, and it's an overwhelmingly sweet smell. And there is a cauldron in the back, and it's actually the bottom face of the entire back end of the oven is essentially, and there's this especially plump mouse there. Let's see if I can find him. And his face is clumpy and mottled. His eyes are black, and he holds here he is. He's got a thermometer, which looks like the weirdest sci-fi wizard staff you've ever seen before. And it fluctuates the mercury, and it goes up and down a little bit as you go in. It's just mesmerizing. And he's got a leather strap, and there's taffy on his back, and almost like, I don't know, like a priest, or like even a Japanese kind of like a I don't know what those are called, but when somebody wears a thing up and behind their head, and he's like, "Welcome to the eternal truth, to Sweet Tooth, life everlasting, my brothers."
This must be some really good honey.
Right.
They're chanting around you. What? I ask each of you. He turns to each of you. Tell me, what great burden has caused you to suffer the long pathway here to your final respite? Tell me, what burdens you? He motions toward August.
I am August, hero of Stumpsville, famed around Oaks Grove. I and my entourage here have come seeking the secrets of the sweets to return to our village and hopefully save our people from starvation.
Sweet Tooth does not bring salvation to all people, for they do not all choose salvation. Sweet Tooth brings salvation, and his bloated and warty paws like are all mangled, and he holds them out. Sweet Tooth brings salvation to those who seek it. And he says, "What of you?" And it points a warty, bumpy paw toward Shim.
Well, as my companion said, we seek to save our city.
Perhaps you also could bear the truth and evangelize, spread the wonder of Sweet Tooth to the lands of Ek that are in darkness. Is that why you have all come?
Yes.
Very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Then follow me. And he goes into backward. So there's the bottom back part of this pot is where he's like churning this golden substance that's dripping down. And he goes to a place that has like a valve. And to your human mind, this is a stovepipe. But it has a little mouse stare. And it's like a, almost like a, it probably looks like, I don't know, like a industrial silo, and you just like spiral your way up, and it takes a long time, takes a whole watch to get up here. It is now well into evening. Uh-oh. Ah, okay. And he brings you out onto this grand platform up here. And I'm going to have some other lights get produced. I'm going to say we're going to have more lights than what you currently have. And you got like 6 of these cultists in robes that are flanking you. You notice that under the robes, some of them have strangely colored fur. And they're shaped strangely. And then Brother Glace, and they walk over to a tunnel, and it comes out here amongst this gooey waterfall. And as you approach it, August, the smell is just overwhelmingly enticing. And then 2 of these, no, it's not 2. It is, 11. You see another miraculous thing. 11 of these giant fat, they're like half of your size, these things with small wings and fat bodies, 11 of them land like a big monstrous squadron all among you. And one of them comes up to Brother Glace, and it says something, and Brother Glace just nods and says, yes, the other hives. We will be with them soon. And then it says something in an alien buzzing tongue, and then they lift off and they take off into the sky, into the sunset. And then, let's see, Brother Glace takes his warty paws and holds it up to the goo, and gets a wad of the goo, and then holds it out to August, who's clearly, his mouth is watering the most.
Yes. We gladly, and I kind of just dip a finger into it first and take a nibble just to see what I'm sensing here.
Roll a d6.
Oh, snap.
Oh no.
One.
Do you know what your XP was from the last level?
I just remember getting 20 from last level. Yes.
You now have 10. And all of a sudden, now
wow.
I'm going to skip ahead because we might not get to talk about this later, but you can never dream again. And you now have a curse. You can never dream.
Whoa.
What?
And something changes inside of August when he dips his finger in this and touches it to his tongue. You see that something inside him gains an insight beyond what a mouse can have. And then Brother Glace gets a scoop of it, and then holds it out to Sorrel.
Gosh dang it, again. Can Sorrel tell the change in his friend?
Something is off. Something strange happened when he ate it. Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
I don't have a container or anything to put it in, but I will gladly accept a spoonful and not partake of it, but collect it in my spoon.
You collect it in your spoon?
Yes.
He looks at you eagerly as you hold the spoon.
I smile.
Please. Don't offend the sweet tooth. And then all the cultists go, sweet tooth.
Yes, little sweet tooth.
Can I? Can I? I look to my friends for help. You see, panic happens in the old wizened face. His whiskers curl.
Shim shakes his head like,
How do I navigate this social interaction?
I think perhaps we are unworthy of this gift, and we should depart at once, lest we offend Sweet Tooth.
Sorrel nods eagerly. Yes, I don't want to offend anybody. I am just not hungry at the moment. I'm going to treasure it, and I look at it in my spoon as it gleams, and it's magnificent. I'd rather save it for a moment later to indulge.
Okay, so I rolled the reaction roll. So, all the cultist mice, they look at each other uncertain, like they can't believe that someone would turn down the blessing of Sweet Tooth. But then Brother Glace, he's got this big overbite, and his mouth is open, and he's just like, what is it that you wish? What do you want? Will your journey continue along the corrupted path without the truth of Sweet Tooth?
I wish only for the safety of Oaks Grove.
The only safety is in the truth of the never-ending darkness of life, beyond life.
Is it possible for me to, as this whole scene is playing out, just to sort of maneuver myself behind the cult leader?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you do that.
I'd like to shove him off the edge.
All right. You do that.
Sweet tooth.
That's exactly what he does. You shove him off the edge, and you see Brother Glace just like blissfully fall to his death. He's like, the truth of eternal life. And then he splats against the floor. His little mouse guts go flying out.
Sorrel winces.
And the other 6 cultist mice draw their blades in anger at the horrible offense you've done before their holy shrine.
Yeah, I figured I might get that kind of reaction.
Sweet Tooth's vault.
This will be perilous to fight upon. You are all on edges as you try to fight.
I'm going to tell them as I draw my, or actually, I'm holding out my hammer. I'm going to say, "Stand down. You are now free to leave this place."
I'm going to do this at a -4. All right, that's a 6. It gives them a moment of hesitation, which will allow you a surprise round. But you can see them; they are beyond. All their eyes are black. They're mutated. These mice are forever changed. They're not coming back.
I'm sorry if I've screwed us all, fellas, but I hate cultists.
All right, so let's see.
I should have said that before we started this journey, but now you know.
August.
Surprise!
August, top of the round. What do you do?
I have tasted the truth. I will
He's now a
snap
cultist.
out of it for a minute and see that my friends are in some deep caca. So I think given the precarious heights of what we're in, I'll probably move to try to shove another cultist down to their falling death.
All right, that's going to be an opposed strength save, which is whoever rolls lowest.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Is that a D20?
Yeah, it's a D20. All you got to do is not roll a 17 or above.
10.
Nice. You do. Let me see where you're at. You are over here, so you probably move up and you toss another one off the rafters. And he falls down to his death. All right, the next person up is going to be Shim.
All right, he's going to step back a bit and shout, "Slingman, volley!" And he's going to
Nice.
shoot this guy here with his sling.
Yeah, if you want, Jake, you can roll for all of your hirelings to fire their slings if you want.
Okay, what do I roll for that?
You can double click on them, and then actually that's a good point. You'd roll a D20 and a D4. Actually, I'm sorry, no, not a D20, just a D4. It's just a D4. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 5d4.
All right, let's see here. So Shim, you get 2 plus 4 is 6, 7. All right, you kill 2 of them. Boom, boom. All right, so that is Shim's turn plus the hirelings. Sorrel.
I would like to...
They're also going to make a morale check.
How many of them are left?
Oh, they fail their morale check. They're going to try to flee and alert the other cultists. There are 3 of them left.
I would like to move up to the nearest one and turn my spoon upside down so the honey side whops them on the head, cover their head in sticky, ooky honey, and hopefully discombobulate them.
All right, you can roll the damage on your hammer.
Okay, using it with both hands, so give me a d8. And the chat won't update on my end for whatever reason. So
I'm sorry. You got 5
okay.
damage, so
Hey,
it
yes.
hurts them, and additionally, they take a cursed condition. And let's see. The next person up is Hawthorne.
Well, I hate to say it, fellas, but it's hammer time.
Dun-na-na-na.
Just for that, I'm probably going to fail this miserably. But I will attempt to, as they're fleeing, I'm going to attempt to catch one of them and hammer him off, knocking him off the rafters with my hammer. That's my attempt.
All right.
Whatever one I can catch.
Let's do an opposed strength save, because that'll be kind of a one and done. All you gotta do is not get a 19. You knock him off, and you do damage, and he falls to his death. Ah! And let's see. Edmund.
I will take out my sword. Well, I guess I already have it in my hand. I'm going to attempt to, over the top of my head, just use both my arms to throw the sword as hard as I can at the close fleeing cultist.
Okay. Since that's an improvised attack, it'll be done at D4.
Right.
But you can move, I think. You could move up and attack them if you would prefer.
Yeah, okay. I can get past all these people?
Yeah.
All these mice? Okay. Oh, I had everybody selected. Oopsies. Yeah, okay. Then I'll just attack with the melee attack with my sword. So, let me see. I think that's a D6.
All right. A 3 is just enough to kill this one. And he is now dead. One is still fleeing, though. And he makes it all the way up to the edge on his turn. And then starts running down the tube to alert the entire cult to your, where there's dozens of these people. What do you all do?
Are we able to hit him from here?
I'm gonna say
around the
yeah.
corner?
I'm gonna say he double moved on his turn. He was able to make it to the stairs and down a little bit.
If we use that fish hook and the thread, we could climb down and get out of here.
I'll say you can do that, but you'll have to sacrifice the fish hook and thread.
That's acceptable.
All right.
I would like to slice a piece of this magical goo with my sword and detach it from itself and let it tumble down to the floor.
Okay, yeah, you
Good idea.
hack up at a higher level of it, so it goes, it peels off and slops against the floor below, and you all climb down before the whole force of the cultists could be alerted. You're down on the floor, and there's the slop of this stuff, and there's the dead bodies of Brother Glace, a look of euphoria still on his face, even in death.
Should we all just grab hold of this thing and haul ass?
Yeah, I think we should skedaddle.
All right. I assume you take something to pick it up with other than your hands or something, your paws.
That
And-
little cup over there.
Let's use the straw.
I also have my sword.
Ah!
We could shove it through, and then hold it on the edges and
Yeah.
run with it like a.
like a big
Perfect.
tube on both ends. What'd you say, Jake? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Just roll.
You do that, and you go fleeing off into the wilderness to make it back home. Wait, is it not going to do it? And just before night falls, you make it back to the base of Oaks Grove with your tube of the magical elixir, the substance, and with that you make it back into the White Cheese Tavern.
Should we take this before we get to the white cheese? Should we take this to Marjoram? Take him so he can decide what he's going to do with it and explain all the stuff that we saw and the possible trouble with this stuff.
Yeah, we should tell him how dangerous it is.
There is no trouble. There is no danger.
All is sweet tooth.
All right, you find Marjoram amongst the mouse town, and he says, "How curious, look at this, oh my." And he gets ready to touch it, before you warn him, and then you stop him, warn him. And he sees that Edmund, you have that stalk of the base of the giant, stalk, and he says, "I will give you 100 more pips if you give me that."
Sold.
Right. Well, you make it 1,100 pips in addition to attaining the bendy straw, and then you got a few other pips too. If you choose to give half of it to the mouse community, you get double XP. That's your last choice for the evening. Or you can keep your share. It'll be split.
Sadly, my share was already promised to the followers. So
Well, we'll give them 20. You said 20 pips, so we'll give them 20 pips. We'll do that.
Okay.
You'll still get your pips, though. Okay. So
I'd be happy to give up some pips to the mouse community since
Yeah.
it's more than we thought we were going to get.
Same thing.
Edmund too.
all right, and that's the end of our adventure for the night.